Friday, November 14th, 2025. That's the date. That's how it's going to go. I'm showing up, putting in the work, but I'm telling you now, I'm taking that L. We'll see what happens after, but that's...
Gervonta Davis has put on massive weight, and Jake Paul is now firing shots at him, calling him enhanced and even teasing his loss. In a recent reaction to Tank training, Jake Paul noted that Tank looks massive compared to usual, and it's only raising red flags. "Yeah, you're naturally small, we gonna check you for PEDS," Jake said. "You got big just to get embarrassed in the ring."
And they have Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis. That's the state of boxing.
Yeah, that's
right now.
crazy.
Let that sink in.
Jake
That's
Paul,
right
Gervonta Davis is so crazy. 135 versus 200. That is so nuts.
They're all exhibitions.
None of them are.
They're exhibitions.
Jake's been looking for any crack in Tank's armor, and lately he found one: the weight. ESPN reported that Gervonta is moving up nearly 60 pounds for this fight, a massive number for a guy who normally fights at 135. It's not just a weight jump, it's a total rebuild of his body. And when you look at him now, it shows.
Best boxers right now. I think that fight there, because of Tank's skill level, it's like it makes it fair, even though he's not. The weight difference is crazy. Really and truly, bro, Jake Paul should not land a punch on Tank. This guy's one of the greatest boxers.
Even at their face-off, Tank didn't look like the same lightweight who flattened Ryan Garcia. His frame looked thicker, his chest wider, his neck packed with more muscle. Even under that camo jacket, you could see he'd filled out. That's the image that started the whole debate. Fans on X have clipped the side-by-side photos, pointing out how the once sleek power puncher now looked like he'd been lifting heavy for months.
What do you think of Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis? I know on Instagram you called it a circus.
Yeah, boxing is slowly turning into the WWE. That's what I think.
Does Tank Davis have a chance?
Yes, but
yeah?
I don't even want to talk about it. Don't ask me questions like that again.
But that's exactly what this camp seems to be about: function over flash. The new Tank isn't built to look good. He's built to take punishment. Facing a natural cruiserweight like Jake Paul means he has to absorb weight behind those punches, not just dodge them. Paul fights near 200 pounds, and he throws with everything. Tank's answer was to bulk up strategically, trading some speed for sturdiness. Training clips from his camp tell the same story. His camp, Calvin Ford included, knows that under exhibition rules, with heavier gloves and no strict weight limit, Tank can safely add size without worrying about weigh-ins.
My only concern is, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's 2 pounds away from Jake. He fights in 10s. Tank fighting 8s, so he losing 4.
However, even with the bulk, Tank has been cautioned about Jake Paul's unique power by a former rival, highlighting the challenges the lightweight champion will face in their upcoming exhibition bout. Tyron Woodley, who faced Jake Paul twice in 2021, knows exactly what that power feels like. Their second meeting ended in a second-round knockout that ESPN Ringside named KO of the Year. It was the kind of shot that instantly erased any doubts about Jake's punching power. Now, Woodley's offering advice that carries some weight of its own.
133 pounds, a 5'7" wingspan. Tank fighting me would be a fairer matchup. We're basically the same size. And you wonder why fans think Jake's fights are rigged? Because every time we see some nonsense like this, it feels like WWE with boxing gloves. Here's the kicker though. Jake threatened to sue anyone who calls his fights rigged.
My advice to Tank, I would say take Jake seriously, Woodley told Fruity King. For a fighter that's on Tank's level to go into a fight with somebody that on paper hasn't had the amateur or professional career he had, he needs to take him seriously and recognize Jake has the motivation to prove people wrong. It's not just talk. Woodley's seen what happens when you give Jake Paul too much room. Even though Tank is a powerful puncher, you're going up to fight somebody at 195 pounds, he added. It's a whole different level of power, and you've got to be able to get close to him. His reach advantage is going to have you by at least 5 or 6 inches, and Jake's smart enough to keep you away. If you keep forcing the issue, you can walk onto a punch, so I would take it seriously. That's the kind of warning Davis can't afford to ignore. For all his skill and reputation as one of boxing's most explosive finishers, he's walking into a size problem he's never had to deal with before. Jake Paul might not be a world champion, but he's a big man who's been throwing full power shots at cruiserweight and beyond.
Boxing has gone too far. Jake Paul is taking on Gervonta Tank Davis in an exhibition bout this November. The fight will be taking place in Atlanta between the cruiserweight and the 135-pounder, nearly a 100-pound difference between the two guys. This is absolutely insane. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below.
Even with Gervonta's clear power advantage in his natural division, stepping up nearly 60 pounds, as reported by ESPN, changes everything. It's not just about strength, it's about timing, movement, and the way punches land when the other guy's body is almost 60 pounds heavier. It's why Davis's camp has leaned heavily on strength and conditioning this time around. He's noticeably bulked up, thicker in the arms, shoulders, and chest. That's not cosmetic, it's survival preparation. The lightweight champion now looks far more solid than usual. Still shorter, yes, but his frame carries more mass, and that alone shows he's preparing to deal with Jake's natural weight and power. Under normal sanctioning, this fight wouldn't even happen. The gap between 135 and 195 pounds is just too wide. But as an exhibition, the rules are looser. There's no official weight limit and no title on the line, which gives Davis the flexibility to pack on extra size to handle the physical side of this matchup.
Because he was talking about fighting Joshua, which is heavyweight, and now he's saying about fighting Tank. Nah, this can't be. It's Netflix as well. I need to go and do some checks and see if the main pages have posted this, but Jake Paul's posted it. It says Friday, November 14th. It's in Atlanta, State Farm.
Woodley's words highlight what many analysts have been quietly saying. Tank can't just rely on his explosiveness here. Against a man with a 6-inch reach advantage and nearly 60 extra pounds, closing the distance will take precision and patience. If he lunges in recklessly, one clean right hand could end his night early, just like it did for Woodley. Still, not everyone is convinced that Jake Paul has a real chance of beating Gervonta Davis. Claressa Shields has made her opinion clear. Speaking to $1 Million Worth of Game, she said, "I think Shakur beats Gervonta Davis, and I used to think Devin Haney. I think Devin can outbox Tank, but once Tank catch him, it's going to be a long night. But the only person I think that can beat him is Shakur." Shields knows dominance when she sees it. She's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist and the first boxer, male or female, to become undisputed in 3 separate weight classes during the 4-belt era. Her respect for Davis runs deep, and even though she believes he'll win, she isn't expecting it to look clean.
Where he could land one big punch, and Tank being so much smaller, he just can't handle the power?
Nah, not at all. I think Tank is, he's been boxing his whole life, been boxing since a kid, so I doubt that's going to be an issue or problem. I think Jake is good for where he's at, but I think it's just levels.
Do you see a more likely chance that Tank wins by decision or by...
Tank, listen, you better whoop Jake or I'm really going to have a problem with you, she said. No ifs and buts, you better do it. You shouldn't have signed a contract. I think Tank is going to beat him, but it's going to be a very ugly fight. Jake is going to put his weight on him, Jake going to be fighting dirty. I don't even know if Tank's punches will be able to hurt Jake. He's so big.
Looking good in this. I don't know how it is. It's looked to me, David and Goliath, but David got skill and Goliath doesn't. But I don't know how it's going to work out. But if for some reason it winds up being a really fun event and it has tons and tons of viewers, millions and millions and millions of viewers, when Gervonta Davis goes back to his...
That last part is the concern everyone shares, whether Gervonta's knockout power translates against a man that much larger. Davis has built his career ending fights with a single clean shot, but doing that against someone who fights 50 or 60 pounds heavier is a different story. Even with heavier gloves, Jake's natural bulk gives him an advantage in absorbing impact. The fight itself has already stirred plenty of controversy. Just recently, MVP Promotions, which manages Jake Paul, withdrew its application for an event license in Georgia. The Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission told USA Today that MVP had abandoned attempts to get the fight sanctioned. Rick Thompson, the commission's chairman, later confirmed the withdrawal and explained why. They probably evaluated a situation, knew that their weight differences were too much, he said.
I'm just getting warmed up, but this will certainly shut up a lot more people. Each fight has done that so far. Only 5 years as a pro, and feels like the last fight I had was the end of chapter 1. This is the beginning of chapter 2, and I'm only 28 years old. I have a lot more to prove, and once I beat this guy, more people will shut up. But at the end of the day, I'm really still just getting warmed up in the sport, and I'm going to show how.
That kind of comment only fueled the backlash. Critics from inside boxing circles have been vocal about the danger and spectacle of a fight between a career lightweight and a cruiserweight. Paul has fought as heavy as 200 pounds, even moving into the heavyweight range for his exhibition against Mike Tyson last November. Gervonta, by contrast, weighed in at just 135 pounds for his last official bout.
Bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them.
Will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were like to beat him or even like knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him. Bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them. It's the same way Roach feels Tank is the best option for him, same way.
So the skepticism makes sense, but it's also what makes this matchup so interesting. For all the talk about weight, reach, and power, Davis is still the favorite because of his skill and pedigree. He's sharper, faster, and more experienced in the ring. Tank has to prove he can take a punch from a man used to knocking out bigger opponents. Jake has to prove his strength matters against elite timing and footwork. The result will depend on who adjusts first, the smaller man trying to survive or the bigger man trying to land clean.
Jake Paul versus Tank Davis, they just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank.
David Benavidez has also given his thoughts on the fight. The undefeated WBC light heavyweight champion doesn't even entertain exhibitions himself. But when asked about this one, his tone had that mix of curiosity and warning, like he knew something wild was coming. It's a trip, Benavidez said. Jake's big, he's been improving, but Tank's a killer. That's the tone across boxing right now. No one knows how to feel. Half the sport thinks this fight shouldn't even be happening. The other half can't wait to see how far Gervonta's aggression can carry him against a man nearly 70 pounds heavier.
Jake he ain't gonna fight back. He said, so I say, you gotta take him serious. You get what I'm saying? Because he talked about, he had you on a hit list before this fight even happened. So his mental is on you. So you have to take him serious.
Because if there's one thing that's been impossible to ignore lately, it's how big Tank's been looking. Every new clip, every training photo, the man's moving different. He's not walking around like a lightweight anymore. He's eating, lifting, and carrying himself like someone who expects a wall to hit back.
3 to 4, probably wake up probably like 11, get my run in, and then eat, probably lay back down, and then wake up probably like 6 or 7, get.
And after the warnings he's gotten about Jake's power, he'd be crazy not to. But Benavidez's take has flipped the usual narrative. Instead of worrying about the weight gap, he's wondering what happens if Tank actually lands first. This isn't going to be one of those exhibitions where they play around, he said. Tank ain't gonna dance. He's gonna try to hurt him every single round.
Tank looked very uncomfortable facing off. He just did. I've seen other face-off this Tank done. He gets in their face and they're intense and he looks good. He looked very meager up there. You've had 8 fights and you're gonna go tangle with Tank Davis. And the story instantly comes out. Jake is so much bigger. There is such a compliment to Jake within that insult. It is meant to.
And that's what gives this fight its strange energy. Two worlds colliding, both with something to prove and neither built to coast. Jake Paul's already doubled down on that. I'm gonna knock this guy out, he told reporters, eyes locked on camera like a man who's said it too many times to doubt it anymore. It's probably going to be one of the most viral knockouts in the history of boxing.
3 to 4, probably wake up probably like 11, get my run in, and then eat, probably lay back down, and then wake up probably like 6 or 7, get.
Jake's been sitting in a full camp for weeks, bulking back up toward the 190 to 200 range. By fight night, he'll probably step in around 210, facing a man who walks around at 150 on a heavy day. The optics alone are wild. But in Jake's mind, that's part of the statement. He wants the size, the risk, and the noise. He knows if he flattens Tank, the internet will lose its mind.
It's kind of weird because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank. And I mean, but with it being a exhibition, it makes sense. It's fine. He got a big.
And to his credit, he's trying to make sure no one can claim it's staged. Full-on random drug testing, he added. No excuses, no rigging, just two guys fighting. But even with all the extra muscle, Jake's been playing chess behind the scenes, calling in names that raised eyebrows even in Tank's own circle.
I don't want to beat up somebody that small. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
What do you think of the fight?
I don't want to lose to somebody that. There's no point in the fight. It's a great fight, actually.
You think
I'm
it's a
not
good
hating
fight?
on the fight, but I think my thoughts on it is let's watch it, see what happens.
Ryan Garcia said that boxing is turning into WWE.
Yeah,
with that type of matchup. You agree? Last thing, White House card, like he said.
One of those names, Shakur Stevenson. Yeah, Gervonta's biggest rival, offering to help Jake Paul prepare for him. According to Jake himself, Shakur wants to come into camp for sparring, alongside other sharp, slick southpaws like Montana Love, Jermaine Ortiz, and Erickson Lubin. In terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in, Jake told Fight Hub TV. Fast, quick, shifty southpaws. That's not just random matchmaking. Those are fighters who know how Gervonta moves. They've studied him. In Shakur's case, he's been calling him out for years, and that's where things get messy. Because even though Gervonta's been laser-focused, that kind of move, Shakur stepping in to help Jake blurs the lines between rivalry and sabotage. The two have been firing shots at each other online for months, turning what could have been a dream matchup into something personal. So for Shakur to align, even loosely, with Jake, it stings.
Why?
I mean, I get it because at the end of the day, it's the money business, and you want to make the most money. But from what I'm hearing, he can make more money in a fight with me, and if that's the case, why not fight me?
Sure. Do you think he beats Jake Paul?
Do I think he beats Jake? Yeah. I mean,
There's a huge size advantage, though.
it is, but I think Tank got the skills.
Meanwhile, Tank's camp hasn't said much, just silence, training footage, and muscle mass. He's been seen with heavier resistance bands, short-range power drills, and even more shoulder rotation work than usual, all signs of a man trying to transfer speed into weight. He knows Jake's size changes everything. He can't just dart in and out like he did against Ryan Garcia. One clean right hand from a 200-pounder, and even Tank's legendary chin could be tested in ways we've never seen.
Over 10 3-minute rounds.
I said it was 190.
The fight is 195 pounds, Tank, as you know. Over 10 3-minute rounds, and when Tank and Jake enter the squared circle to go to battle, they will be wearing 12-ounce gloves. 3 commission-approved, world-class professional judges will score every round.
Benavidez's comments hit that nerve perfectly. He's not disrespecting Jake, but he's not fooled either. Jake's been improving, he said, but Tank's a killer. That's the difference. Still, he warned, size is no joke. If it's small gloves, it goes both ways, Benavidez added. Jake's gonna be 210. Tank's maybe 150. If either of them lands clean, we could see someone go out cold.
Jake Paul, Tank Davis fight got moved to Miami.
I think Jake wins.
Jake's just so big, dude.
I think Jake wins.
This is different because it's similar. It's similar to Logan versus Mayweather, but
Jake has better
Paul
boxing.
now obviously is way more advanced than where Logan was at that moment in time.
That's why this fight, sanctioned or not, is starting to feel like more than an exhibition. There's a real undercurrent of danger here, and the controversy hasn't helped. The Georgia Athletic Commission already forced MVP promotions to pull the original event permit, citing the weight differences being too much.
Now looking good in this. I don't know how it is. It looks to me David and Goliath, but David got skill and Goliath doesn't. But I don't know how it's going to work out. But if for some reason it winds up being a really fun event and it has tons and tons of millions and millions and millions of viewers, when Gervonta Davis goes back to his...
They didn't want to license it as a legitimate pro fight. So now technically it's exhibition only, no official record, relaxed rules, and probably a bigger spotlight than most world title fights this year. But everyone in boxing knows what exhibition really means here. It's just the legal word they needed to keep it alive.
I believe that this is a mismatch, and I believe that Jake Paul will knock Tank Davis out, maybe in the third, maybe in the fourth round. Tank will try to move, he will try to stick and move. It's not gonna work out for him, and he will eventually get knocked out. To be honest,
both men plan to hurt each other. Both are talking about knockouts. Both have already crossed the psychological line where pretending it's friendly isn't believable anymore. And the timing couldn't be better, or worse, depending who you ask. Tank's fresh off a dominant run, but stepping up this far in weight is something no one saw coming. Jake, on the other hand, is trying to reclaim legitimacy after the Tyson fallout, and he knows the only way to do that is to shock the pros again. But do you think he does? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more updates.